We are coming back on right now to update some breaking news. A Chicago police officer has been shot. This happened just after 12:30 this afternoon in the 5600 block of South Shields in Chicago's Englewood neighborhood. That officer has since been taken to University of Chicago Medical Center. Our reporters have made it both there and to the scene of that shooting. Let's start with Michelle Gallardo, who is at the scene of that shooting. So, Michelle, what have you learned since you arrived?
Liz, we were only able to arrive on scene just moments ago. Right now, we are at Sherwood Park looking down at 57th and Shields. I'm going to get out of the way to give you a view of what is going on exactly right now. And what you can see here is really a massive police response. There are dozens of officers responding to this crime scene. As you say, just after 12:30 today, the news came through that a Chicago police officer had been shot. We believe he was shot in the leg, and as you mentioned earlier, he was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital for treatment. Now, what we have been seeing since we got here is a large amount of police activity centered around a white house on the corner where we see officers coming in and out of. We're not sure how that is related to this shooting. Police, as of yet, have not really put out any official statements, so we are unaware what the circumstances of this shooting are. What we can tell you, however, is that there was one other person, presumably an offender involved in this shooting, that was also sustained a gunshot injury. We are told that that person was taken to Stroger Hospital for treatment. But again, a very large police presence here continuing as the investigation goes on. And we still do really, again, we just do not know the circumstances. We're not sure why police were here on the scene to begin with and what precipitated what appears to have been an exchange of gunfire, possibly. Again, very little that we know for sure confirmed, but we will bring you more as that information develops. And for now, we'll send it back to you, Liz, and I know Leah's at the hospital where we're waiting on the mayor to arrive as well.
Certainly, Michelle, before we head over to Leah, I just want to ask you, you said this is a very active police scene, naturally, their investigation. Are you hearing anything or seeing anything in terms of a lot of witnesses out there? This looks like a residential block of the Englewood neighborhood. Sometimes people are out and about, may have seen something or heard something. Have you been able to talk to anybody that may have witnessed this?
No, not as of yet. In fact, when we got here, we did see several people gathered around the crime scene area. But as you know, when these types of situations arise, the police tape is usually set up in a way that we're a block or even 2 blocks away from where this happened. And so the people that we've been speaking to tell us that they didn't really even hear any gunshots and were only attracted to the area once they started seeing all of the police activity. But as of now, we've not been able to come across yet anyone who may have witnessed what happened here.
Okay. All right, Michelle, we'll let you get back out to that scene, talk to anybody you might be able to know. Of course, police are very busy investigating the circumstances of that shooting, so we'll have to wait to hear from them. Thank you. Let's head out now to our Leah Hope. She's in position at the University of Chicago Medical Center where that officer was taken. Leah, you're waiting on the mayor to arrive there.
We had heard that the mayor may be coming, but of course in this type of situation you hear things and plans change. But what we know is that this officer was shot in the leg, either in the calf or in the knee or something like that, and certainly a serious injury, but it doesn't appear to be a life-threatening injury. And to Michelle's point about the exchange of gunfire, it's unclear whether there was actually an exchange of gunfire or maybe one fire might have ricocheted off of something. But what we do hear is that this officer was shot in the leg, apparently being treated and doing well, responding well, and recovering here at University of Chicago. Of course, anytime there is an officer shot, there is an enormous police presence, enormous city of Chicago presence, and that is indeed what we're seeing. So what we are hearing is that he was brought here. We understand that there is an offender in custody. We see one of the administrators with the Chicago Police Department coming over now, and perhaps he'll give us an update. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on him. He might just be trying to cross the street, honestly. But to Michelle's point, it's also unclear what they were doing there, what the call was. Glenn, can you come over for just a moment?
I can't do it.
You can't do it right now?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Okay. But he's doing okay? Okay, so we're waiting for official word, but I asked if the officer was doing okay, and I got a thumbs up. And what we heard earlier is that there was an offender in custody, and now we're trying to piece together what exactly happened. And of course, that's what the police department is doing as well. It looks like we're going to be setting up here in just a few minutes for some type of briefing. As you saw at Michelle's scene, a lot of officers trying to unpack and unravel the situation and the circumstances that led to it. And you have the same type of situation. You have the same type of situation here here at University of Chicago. We have the same situation here. And if I could just get my photographer's attention here, because I wanted to show you what was going on behind me. You see some of the leadership of the Chicago Police Department here on the scene, talking to officers who were involved. Sorry, there might be a car in the way here, but we are right across the street from University of Chicago, here in the Hyde Park neighborhood, which of course is the Trauma 1 center closest to the Englewood neighborhood where this officer was shot. It looks like there might be some movement here. Maybe we're going to be getting an update soon, so certainly we will let you know when that happens. But for now, we have seen just a lot of officers on the scene, a lot of executives, administrators with the Chicago Police Department here on scene. And in fact, on the way here, we saw a lot of flashing lights heading to this direction. But the good news, at least, we could report, it's no good news that anyone is hurt, but it seems like the officer appears to survive these injuries, but certainly a scary situation. And if you could just hand me my phone, I'm just getting word about the mayor's situation. So we'll certainly let you know if, okay, so yeah, just getting confirmation that the mayor is on his way.
Okay.
So we'll set up for that, and we'll certainly let you know what he has to say, and if there's anyone else in the police department who wants to speak to us. But certainly, Liz, as you know, and sadly, as so many of our viewers know, there is gun violence in these streets, and it is a dangerous situation sometimes when you think it's the most benign situation for our first responders. So that was a circumstance today, but what exactly surrounded the circumstance, that's what we're waiting to hear. For now, this officer is being treated here at the University of Chicago, and we are told that an offender is in custody. So that's the latest here from University of Chicago. Liz, we'll let you know when we have more information, or if the mayor or the superintendent is going to be talking. So for now, we are live. Thanks for being with us on this special edition here online. This is the latest information that we have here from the Hyde Park neighborhood. I'm Leah Hope, ABC 7 News. Back to you in the studio, Liz.
Leah, can I just ask you one question before you go? We had heard perhaps that the officer was taken to University of Chicago Medical Center by some fellow officers, perhaps self-transported. We've seen situations like that before when officers have been shot. Other officers just want to get them to care as quickly as possible. There's no time to wait for an ambulance. Are you seeing any police cars there outside of the hospital that could indicate that perhaps that is what happened? I've seen that situation before where the police car ends up surrounded by tape as part of that investigation.
Here at the hospital, there are a lot of police cars, but it's unclear which of those cars, which of those officers may have been involved. Actually, I think you might be talking to Michelle.
No. I was speaking with you. I was just trying to get a sense of the hospital. Sometimes if the police squad car is what the officer arrived in who'd been shot, sometimes that becomes then part of the investigation there outside the hospital. I was wondering if you're seeing anything like that while we wait to get more official information from the Chicago Police Department.
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. Yeah, I certainly, we have seen that. We have seen police officers not only take their own other officers who have injured. We've seen police officers take civilians who have been injured and just trying to get them to treatment as soon as possible. Of course, with any type of trauma wound, it's the time factor. It's the bleeding, and getting them to treatment as soon as possible really is a matter of life or death. So to your point about what happened with this situation, we do not see that. We certainly just see a lot of police cars here, but it doesn't look like what you're talking about. Any one police car is part of an investigation or a crime scene. We just see a lot of officers here. Certainly, when other officers hear that someone has been hurt, it's of grave concern, and certainly a grave concern to so many Chicagoans, for the men and women who try and take care
Right.
of the citizens of Chicago. But we do not know the circumstances of this situation. We do not know. They say that this was allegedly an offender who was shot. Again, this is so preliminary. We
Right.
don't know the circumstances. We know a civilian was shot. We know an officer was shot. So we're waiting to get more details. But at this point, it looks like the officer, it's not a life-threatening injury, and certainly he was brought to a Trauma 1 medical center. So this is certainly the best place he could be, close to the Englewood neighborhood, as you know.
Right, and that officer is in the hands of the very best doctors and nurses there at University of Chicago Medical Center. Okay, Leah, we are just getting word from Michelle Gallardo at the scene that she's being told by officers there that police are going to provide an update at the hospital. So we'll come back to you in just a little bit. Perhaps you can give us a heads up when you see officers and the mayor's detail heading your way.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like police are now
Okay, we
reviewing
will.
evidence on the scene. They're trying to take a look at the body camera video from that officer and other officers who were on the scene. So what we know right now, one Chicago police officer shot in the leg during some kind of situation in the city's Englewood neighborhood in the 5600 block of South Shields. This happened sometime around 12:30 this afternoon. Police are carrying out their investigation in the scene. Officers are also at the hospital where that young officer is being treated. The mayor is on his way to University of Chicago Medical Center, and we will bring you that update live here on the web as soon as it becomes available.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.